Do you work to live or live to work? Look, I don't know about you, but if you're a bit like me, you want to work less, live more. And if so, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Jason from GetUncommonResults.com, and I wanted to have a conversation with you. See, I've been talking to my colleagues, my clients, some of my associates and accountability partners about the idea. I'm sure you've all heard of 4-Hour Work Week and other books and concepts all about the idea of being able to work less and live more, have a better life, more excitement, enjoyment, instead of just working your days away. And so one of the biggest secrets, at least in my experience, there's one key secret to being able to achieve this very goal. And I know you've heard it before. It's in delegation. Building the team, finding the right people, putting them in the right seats, really leveraging off other people's skills, time, and ability so that you can achieve more without having to do everything yourself. Now, I know I've heard this 1,000 times, and I'm willing to bet you have too. But the thing that most people don't talk about is, how do you actually delegate? How can you truly hand off a project that only you can do, or something that you need attention to detail or a certain level of skill? Well, the good news is there are 5 steps in my experience with my clients and doing it myself when it comes to building a system, building a process, or a step-by-step guide that you can hand off to someone else. There's a couple of different ways you can go about it, but if we were to take all that and condense it down, there really are 5 steps. Would you like to know what they are? All right, because here's what we want to talk about. Step 1 is all in the mastery. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, some people will say that you have to master the project. You have to be perfect, that you have to be the best at it before you teach it to someone else. Others will say the exact opposite, that you want to find people smarter than you who can do the task. That way you don't have to, right? Personally, I don't think it's either one. My experience is it's right in the middle. See, I don't know, maybe this has happened to you, maybe it hasn't, where you've hired someone who's smarter than you, that you think, well, at least you think they are, and maybe they are, but they do the job, but when you get it back, it's not what you want, it's not what you need, it's missing gaps. Or on the flip side, where you put all your time in, you put all your energy in, and it takes hundreds of hours, or sucks up your day, week, month, etc., maybe even worse, the project doesn't get done. That's why my belief is it's in the middle. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, if you know and understand what is possible, let's say for example, software, Excel. Let's use Excel. Everybody's used Excel or Google Sheets, right? Yeah, type Excel down below. Maybe they'll get an endorsement or something, sponsorship, who knows? But back to the point. Let's say Excel. If I know what an Excel sheet can do when it comes to formulas, when it comes to processes and charts and organization, then I know what I can delegate. If I don't know what formulas are possible, then I have no idea what that actual program is capable of. Make sense? Well, how does that work when it comes to mastery? Mastery is understanding what is possible, what is it capable of. Maybe even being able to do it yourself. You may not be the best at it, but if you know what's possible, then now you can delegate it to someone else who's a master at it, or who can be perfected to the level in which you need. And if they get stuck because you have an insight, understanding, or guidance, now you can provide support to your team. Or at the very least, by knowing what's possible, you have a direction in which to send them to go search for the solutions to their problems, allowing you to stay top level, get the task done without having to jump in both hands or both feet doing it yourself. But like I said, that's only step 1 of the 5-step process. Step 2 would be in the plan. Now, I don't just mean creating the plan or creating the strategy. I'm going to go more in depth than that. But first, I want to map this out. Let's kind of look at this in the 5 steps in the form of a bell curve. All right. Step 1, representing mastery. Mastery is where you're putting a lot of energy in it yourself. It's a very lone wolf type of approach, right? But as you grow, you're going to start to build in your team. As you know what is possible, step 2 is you're going to work on the plan. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when I talk about a plan, I don't mean just showing up with your team and telling them what to do. Where my belief or my approach is that when we build a plan, that we build a plan with our team together. At the very, very least, I will show up in the team meeting, tell them what the outcome is, what's the goal we're going to try to achieve, and what are the ideas or concepts I have in my mind. But I'm looking for my team's input, to get involved, to give me solutions or ideas, or to blow holes in my concept. Because as a team, we're going to be smarter. But not only that, not only do we get the advantage of having more minds in the game, but my favorite part is that when you build a plan as a team, which is why the bell curve goes up, as you build the plan as a team, now you have the real secret. Now you have the specialty, the real part that makes a plan come together. Your team is involved. They have ownership. They have skin in the game, as they would say. The more they are involved in the development of the plan, the more they're going to have the skin in the game, the more they're going to subconsciously want to see the success of what they've built. They take ownership, they take pride. And in my experience, that's how you bring teams together, by building it together. Even if you have the concept or the goal or the strategy already laid out, by bringing your team in to give their input, advice, thoughts, and ideas, strengthens everybody as a whole. Make sense? Great. Which takes us to step number 3. See, step number 3, in my opinion, is the most important part. It's great to have, it's great to have mastery of the subject. It's ideal to have a plan and build in the team. But the most important part of the process is action. Look, one of my mentors once told me that the act of action is going to achieve one of two things. You're either going to take action and find out that your plan worked, or you're going to take action and find out why your plan did not. Either way, you learn. And just the act of taking action tells you what you either need to do or what you need to stop doing. And as long as you don't have your ego in the way, or emotion in the way, or some bullshit stuff going in the back of your head saying, oh, I have to do it that way. As long as you can step back, look at it logically, you will find that the results of your actions will tell you a story. Just like the numbers in your financial statements tell you a story of your sales and your business. It tells you how your business is doing. What does it need? Life support? Is it on its way out, or is it building up? It tells you a story. Well, your action, the steps you take, do the same thing. It gives you clarity and insights into what's working and what's not working, what you can do and what you can't do, where your team is good and where your team is not. Make sense? And in the act of taking action, now you can create momentum. Now you can create opportunities and open up doors. But the key is in the action, which is why it's the highest point of all. And once you complete this step, now you as the leader get to step back and start to stepping out of the game, allowing the momentum to keep going, just like the bicycle going up the hill. Once you hit the action stage, now you're able to step back, providing you did the first 3 steps properly, and that the momentum of the bike going down the hill with your team in charge and controlling the direction, to roll it right down to the finish line. Which takes us to number 4. Because in step number 4, you're going to get involved, but on a much smaller scale. When you come back, when it comes to the plan, you're going to come back to do the review. To review the progress. Like I said, in action, it tells you a story. It tells you what's working. It tells you what's not working. It tells you where you need to go and what you need to stop. It tells you what support your team needs, what areas they are trying too hard in and they're just failing or succeeding, what part of your systems are working, etc., etc., etc. And all that is great, but you only get the information if you do the review. So this is, what do I mean by that? Like sometimes you call it the after an action review or a debrief. This could be a few different things. You can get together with your team and have a conversation, analyze what happened, break down the steps, what worked, what didn't work, what did we learn? What are we going to do differently next time? There's this number of different ways you can do the review, but most importantly is do it as a team. Review it yourself, see the data, get an understanding, educate yourself on what's going on. But when you go into the meeting, just like in the planning stage, make it a group effort so that they keep the ownership. Do not, I repeat, do not go in there and tell them how they fucked it all up. Do not go in there starting to point fingers. The fastest way to take someone out of the game is to start pointing that finger and laying blame and making it their fault and lowering their self-esteem and their self-worth or their belief or their confidence in themselves. Now, I know most entrepreneurs don't understand the concept. We have to be resilient. We have to make mistakes. We have to smash our head against the wall to find out where the door is. And we tend to do it regularly, time after time, but that doesn't mean that what the makeup that makes us so great at what we do is the same for a team. And with them, sometimes, got to be a little more delicate, more understanding. And so what I have found from going in, the psychological approach is to go in and not rip apart their self-esteem, but still call it as it is. Call what you see it. Be direct. Don't tippy-toe, don't walk on eggshells. I'm just saying go in and acknowledge what has worked, what has not worked, and bring the team together to discuss the solutions and the changes and how we can approach it differently, what we can tweak. Make sense? Because that's going to take us into the final step, step number 5. See, the fifth and final step to this whole plan is to take what we've learned and adjust, right? Make the adjustments, make the tweaks. You see, your job as a leader, your job is to support the team, to motivate them, to guide them in the direction and hold the context. Think of the sheep herder, right? If you have 100 people on your team, you can't manage any one individually. It doesn't work that way. And if you have a team of only 5, yeah, sure, your one-on-one management may work great, but you're preventing yourself from being able to scale. But if you look at yourself as a true leader and look at you just like the herder of the sheep or the cattle, your job is to keep everybody together and going in the same direction. If you can keep them together and going in the same direction and protect them, keep them safe from the outside forces so that they can do what they do best, you will find they will work together and head in the right direction. A team that works together in harmony will always outproduce a team that's in conflict and in constant chaos with each other, especially when there's a disagreement between the leader and the team pulling it at the threads. So if you take the plan, you take that action, you review the results, make the adjustments, and then hold the context to keep going in the same direction, to keep aiming for the finish line and get those results, then you're going to have some incredibly powerful output from your team and powerful results and experiences along the way. And the best part is the more you do this successfully, keeping them involved, having them have ownership, and you holding the context together, the easier it gets the time after time after time that as you go down the road and get more projects done. So there you have it. Those are the 5 tips to getting delegation, to handing off the task, or ultimately allowing yourself to live more, work less, cut out the crap, and do what you do best. Now, of course, if you like videos just like this, be sure to subscribe. Leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave a comment. Tell a friend. Share the video. Until next time, I'm Jason from GetUncommonResults.com. And if you want to be surrounded with like-minded individuals just like you, people who get what you're going through, have been where you are, and want to face the challenges head on instead of turn the other way and run, then send us a message. We'll connect you to the right group, bring you into our community. Maybe you could even join our Share and Profit calls, providing you qualify. At a great organization, great group of individuals, solely dedicated to using this with fellow tribe members to achieve a common goal. So send us a message or click the link down below, and I'll see you on the next video.